There have been rumors and speculation about a movie version of The Legend of Zelda for a long time, especially since the Mario movie came out and was actually successful. A few months ago, we got an announcement about the movie, and finally we officially knew it was coming. The initial announcement didn't fill me with hope. You got Avi Arad producing, and the director is some guy I've never heard of called Wes Ball. I looked him up. The only thing he's made is the Maze Runner movies. I haven't seen those. But in the intervening months, he did say a couple of the right things, like he wants it to look like a live-action Ghibli. That sounds like the right approach. And then, recently, I was in the cinema watching Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I love ape movies, right? I'm excited about Ape Year 2024 with Planet of the Apes, King Kong, Donkey Kong. What a year. Anyway, the film finishes and the credits come up, and directed by Wes Ball. I was like, oh, that name's familiar. Is that the Zelda guy? So I checked it, and yeah, it was. So actually, having now seen one of his movies, I can kind of start to imagine what his Zelda film might look like. In a way, this is a pretty perfect audition piece for him being able to make Zelda. The movie stars a young man from a small village. Tragedy strikes, he loses a loved one. He goes off on a quest on a horse to defeat an evil king.
What a wonderful... You witness a king's revival.
It features long sequences of silent protagonists. It has beautiful vistas being explored, and ruins of an ancient civilization. A big factor in the film is that the main character, his village, are hawk tamers, eagle tamers. So he spends a lot of the film with his eagle on his arm, like a Twilight Princess thing. There's a whole subplot about Caesar from the old Planet of the Apes trilogy. I say old, the one from 10 years ago, not the one from 50 years ago. But there's a subplot about him, and they used the symbol, right, from the old movies, which was originally just the window Caesar looked out of. But they treat the symbol with a lot of pomp and circumstance and significance without being over the top about it, right? It's just the way it's shot and the way the music and the characters act, you can tell this symbol is important. And a lot of Zelda games, even when they don't feature the Triforce literally, right, you can't get its power, that symbol of the three triangles or of the Hyrule crest, it's treated with this power. And I could really see that in this film's treatment of Caesar. You have the main human character, who was a blonde lady who, at first you think she needs rescuing, but actually she has a lot of power and agency of her own, so she could be a Zelda. You have a bunch of comedy side characters. Zelda, sure, it can be serious and epic and dramatic, but it also needs to be a little bit silly and wacky, and this film did have some of that. And then, effects-wise, this film looked really good. Like, in recent years, we've been seeing some pretty terrible special effects movies, especially in, the Marvel era, right? They shoot the film and they're just like, we'll do it in post. Just get it done. And they're smashing out these films, 4 of them a year. And then you see something like Godzilla -1, where the budget was tiny, but the director knew special effects, and he went in advance, okay, this shot needs to have this element so we can do the effect, and it looks phenomenal. Because the director took their time and knew what they were doing. So hopefully this is a sign that Wes Ball can do that for the Zelda movie. I know a lot of people were kind of disappointed the film was going to be live action. For me, when you have a movie adaptation of something, there needs to be a point, right? Why am I going to see this movie? Because it's going to be different than what I can get at home. The Super Mario Bros. Movie was fun, but I haven't really felt a need to watch it again since I saw it in theaters because it just looks like the games. I could just play one of my Mario games and I'm getting that experience. Sure, seeing it on the big screen was cool, but otherwise, it looked like the games, it sounded like the games, they did basically the stuff from the games. I don't have any need to see that film, but a live action Zelda that maybe adds some extra pathos and has a human element and a tangible, real element, especially with a lot of the games being more of a animated, painterly, or cartoonish, Ghibli art style. If this live action one feels like something you can reach out and touch, then yeah, I think it's worth having. Now, a lot of the old Planet of the Apes films are like social commentary pieces. They're thought-provoking, intelligent, meaningful movies. This one didn't have much of that. It really was just a pure adventure story. But in a way, that works for Zelda. Zelda is meant to be adventure boiled down to its core, you know? Young man, on a quest, big kingdom, save the day. And sure, sometimes there's elements of melancholy or there's some mystery to unravel, but you don't want a complex political thing, you know? You want Zelda. You want Zelda times having Zelda adventures with a sword. In fact, this film, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, felt quite video gamey. It opens with basically a platforming segment where they're climbing up a tower to get the bird eggs. It could have been straight out of Breath of the Wild or even like a Mario or a Donkey Kong. But the finale, when they're actually at the baddie's kingdom, it doesn't work the way it would in a video game because it doesn't really work in film, right? There's a little more conversation, there's some tension. In a game, you would turn up there and just BAM! Kick his butt. I get why they don't do that in this movie, but maybe in the Zelda movie, you know, he gets to Ganondorf's castle and it's just, let's go. So after watching Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, which, good movie, you know, solid 8 out of 10, nice film, I'm actually a lot more intrigued to see this Zelda movie. Something weird I noticed while making this video, the name Wes Ball is eerily close to the name Uwe Boll, especially written down. So who knows, maybe if this Zelda movie actually works out, he's going to be the chosen one who comes and undoes all the 90s and 2000s terrible video game movie adaptations. We're still a good few years off getting a Zelda movie, but I'm excited. And if you want to hear me talk more about Zelda or video games, I have a Tears of the Kingdom podcast that just wrapped up. I do videos on this channel, I have a Pokemon podcast, please check out my stuff.